Good afternoon to you all. My name is Sandy McDonald. I'm the Director of the Office of Economic and Small Business Development, and I certainly welcome you here today. I welcome you back, at least in this capacity, for what has always been one of our most exciting workshops. Just for the record, hopefully each one of you get the Wednesday night newsletter. Comes out about 6:15 every single Wednesday. And it tells you about what we're doing, who we are. We share information about our county agencies, but we try to make sure that our small businesses are aware of the opportunities that are on the horizon. We try to make sure in some of our workshops, which are also on our website, you can go back and check them out, the main one, Certified Now What, you begin to understand the process for knowing more about the 3 Ps. Program, process, and people. So there's an actual workshop, Certified Now What, and we drill down on program, process, people. The first thing for small businesses, you need to know the program. It's in your best interest. The county has done this. They did this before they met me 9 years ago. The Business Opportunity Act spells out SBE, spells out CBE, spells out procurement solicitations, and spells out how county agencies like those you'll hear from today have a requirement to work within procurement and the Business Opportunity Act to assure that at least 25% of what the county buys, we try to buy from certified local small businesses. So we want to make sure that all of our small businesses at least know where to go find the program. You can see it on our website, you can see it in municipal code, but please know where you can always go look up the program. But at the program, we often talk about process. You're going to hear from Mr. Gleason, our purchasing director, a little later, but he and I just also decided with his team, we're going to do a new series of rolling out the process when it comes to procurement. We've already done the first series. That too right now is on our website. We want to make sure that you understand all county processes as it relates to small business. We often say, if the first time you see or hear about a bid, especially if the first time you hear about a bid is when the bid hits the bid portal, you're already late. So we want to make sure that you understand above board what opportunities you are and knowing the process, knowing how to find information, knowing how to take a look at past contracting opportunities, knowing how to understand at what point in your periscope that you might hear a little bit about today that you're going to get a notification about a bid, your opportunity to speak to that bid, to ask questions about that bid, who to contact during that bid. So again, purchasing is one of those partners of ours who make sure that we try to educate small businesses to the process. But today is that 3rd P, people. We never promise throughout the year, every time you call or every time you email, a county agency, a county director, an agency director would be able to take that call or take that meeting. I'm saying it on their behalf, they can't. At the end of the day, guys and girls, there's over 77,000 of you in Broward County, in case you didn't know it. Now, don't tell on yourself. Hopefully, each one of you are registered in SunBiz. Hopefully, each one of you are registered in one of my cities with your business license tax receipt. And please have that poker face right about now. Hopefully, each one of you have your Broward County business license tax receipt. In case you didn't know, you can go to the annex building and when you leave here, pay for it because you probably haven't did it in about 7 years. But that's a different story. That's not for today. Today, we want to make sure you understand after program, after process, and we dabble in people, this is what we mean. We do meet and greets. We do workshops. We do this session once a year, and it's done specifically. Always trying to get it in the first week of October because the new fiscal year starts October 1. And we ask, and I'm glad we get the support, county agencies to come and just share with the small business community. And now that I've seen at least 5 of them, to share with the small business community and our prime contractors, thanks for coming, what it is they're looking to do. Not just capital projects, contracting opportunities throughout the upcoming year. And this is your opportunity, if you're paying attention to our Certified Now What, when I'm going through the program process people, this is the opportunity to begin to set that strategy. The presentation, so you don't have to write down everything, the presentation will be up on our website via links by Tuesday of next week. The PowerPoints that all of the presenters will go through will also be up on our website next week. So your concentration and focus should really be attentive to the 5 to 7 minutes. See, they're going to teach you what we teach you in all that speed dating. Each one of them is going to drill you for about 5 to 7 minutes of their information. And you want to focus on those things that are relevant to you and your industry. Because when we're done, yes, we're going to entertain questions. And when we're done, based on the time, yes, they would love to see you, meet you, exchange some cards. But the substance of today, when I do the workshop, Certified Now What, and we're talking about program, process, people, is that this is the beginning of the strategy that if I become familiar, or at least if I'm informed about an upcoming project, I can begin to do my homework on that project before the bid ever comes out. If I recognize that there is a goal or there may be a goal, I then can understand and try to find out based on the scopes if my industry will be included. If my industry is being included and it was a major project, then I want to begin to identify some of the potential primes who might go after it. And it's at that point I want to engage the potential primes, not waiting on the pre-bid or the meet and greet that I will do. You hope by the time you get to a meet and greet and the pre-bid, you've already met the prime. So when you get to the meet and greet or the pre-bid, you can say, hey, I'm the cat that met you 6 months ago. That's just a strategy. Because at the end of the day, and I used to do this, and I have a friend in the room, have a bunch of friends in the room, but this just happened to one of my vendors. So we're at a last workshop, and while we're at the workshop, we're talking about new opportunities, and she's telling me about a prime that she's already been working with, and it's almost like timely. By the time she simply said, yeah, I've been working with that prime before, then the prime said, well, I want to show you some success stories. And then the prime looks to a screen and talks about the different small businesses they've been working with. And the person that's with me, their name is on the board. I say that because you're not just going after a contract. You have to nurture a relationship. You want primes to use you and take you, as we say, beyond Broward. We want primes. I want to know when I see a prime and he's getting ready to go after a county contract, he's already had 5 or 6 of my businesses on another contract in another county or right here in Broward. So today is that day. In this event, yes, we only do this one once a year. We try to bring our county agencies in to just share with you some of the things that are on the horizon. So in terms of housekeeping, again, as I mentioned, we're going to go around the room. Each one of the presenters is going to have about 5 to 7 minutes to share with you. Please save your questions for the end. As they share this information, please be mindful. As I mentioned, we will put the entire presentation up on our website. You will have access to their actual PowerPoint. When we're done, we will have that Q&A session. And at the conclusion of the Q&A session, those of our presenters who are able to stay around will certainly welcome the opportunity to meet you. So with that, I'm going to get started. And the way we're going to start this one this time is just to say on the record, in case you didn't know, there's about $1 billion of goods, materials, services, and products that Broward County as a county buys annually. There's about $1 billion project that's already underway, and that was the expansion of the convention center with the proposed new building of an 800-room Omni Hotel. Then there's the Fort Lauderdale International Airport, where there's a $3 billion master plan project. You guys already know, and you already seen some communications about the proposed build out for Terminal 5 and the continuing remodernization. So again, you'll hear a little bit about that. And then the port activity. The $1 billion of port activity that we're looking to do over the next 3 to 7 years, inclusive of a specific project that we also just had a meet and greet on, that deals with preparing us for these 15 plus years of welcoming Disney. There's a specific project already been awarded. The prime is currently already looking at our subs, and you might hear some more about that today. But this is just to let you know that there's opportunities here in Broward. At the end of the presentations, because I want to be clear, we talk a lot about the verticals, the constructions, the roads, the highways, the port, and the aviation, because they're big ticket items. And the majority of the firms in my certification directory are all trade related. But I'd be remiss if I didn't remind some of you, the ordinance, that Business Opportunity Act, anything the county buys. We buy a lot. We don't buy everything. But now that I got a film office, I got to say we even buy more than a lot. But anything the county buys, if I got at least 2 firms in our directory, the ordinance says we can consider placing a goal. So Human Services started with us back in 2020 on one of their regular procurements, which is the ideal of leadership development, training, consultants to facilitate those sessions for county agencies, for county executive team retreats, for commission retreats. And they have a 25% goal. I'm excited about the fact that Brian and his team in Human Resources do over 29% of what they do with small businesses. So I just want to use that as an example outside of the trades or construction related. Anything the county buys, there's outreach opportunities, communication opportunities, advertising, marketing opportunities. So it's anything the county buys, the ordinance applies to. So with that being said, these are the presenters that we're going to have today from purchasing, aviation, MAP, and MAP. She'll forgive me this one time. MAP, we really want you guys to start saying MAP, Mobility Advancement Program. But you remember it with me when it started off as a little baby. Penny for transportation, grew up and we all love that word surtax. But MAP has a significance. So penny for transportation, also formerly known as surtax, is MAP. So Gretchen's here today to share with us about MAP. Parks and Rec, Port Everglades, Public Works, Transportation, and my friend, our friend. And Nisa does a lot with us with the Broward Sheriff. She attends every one of our Broward and Beyond business conferences. Her and her team always comes to make sure that Broward small businesses know that she too is looking to do business with Broward small businesses. So she's here to join us today to share that information. So with that being said, though these are the presenters, and I see more walking in, there's representatives and staff of some of these individuals who are in the audience or who might be joining us later when we get to Q&A, because we don't want any question to go unanswered. So some of the staff, some of the presenters also have additional staff here to make sure we can entertain your questions. So I'm gonna start off with Mr. Gleason. Last year this time, Robert joined us, and he was, at that time, it was allowed. It's not allowed no more. He was new then. So a whole year now, he ain't new, he can't even use that title no more. But it was important that I started this session off with him. Before we get to the agencies and the projects and the contracting opportunities, he has some great ideas of how he wants to expand and more make purchasing accessible, but more importantly, talk about streamlining a process that makes it more user-friendly as well as administratively friendly to reach the objective, which is competitive procurement for the county, creating more opportunities for businesses, especially small business, and also meeting the fiscal needs of the county and the constituents that we're responsible for. So I want to start this session off. So hear me first and foremost. Bob can't do his in 5 to 7. So he's going to. He already did one workshop with me, my director series. His team has already started a 4-part series. We've already done one where we're talking more about purchasing. I'm saying that without being funny. I need you to pay attention to our newsletter, because as we roll out more information, as he gives us more information, we want to make sure that you are aware that purchasing is married to the small business program. The small business program is married to purchasing, and we can't operate without them, but we can be crystal clear. It would be unfortunate, but they could operate without us. All counties, all cities, all states don't have small business programs. Broward County has chosen to do so. In order to impact or affect the program, it has to be married to procurement. So procurement has embraced this program, procurement has ideas for us, and procurement wants to assure that the information that they have, our small businesses can get in advance and know exactly what they need to do to be competitive in the process. So with that, I'm going to start this with Mr. Gleason. The big green.
All right, thank you. So thank you, Sandy, and I want to thank you for hosting this, putting this all together, and bringing us all together. Purchasing is married with small business. That's been true my entire career. So I am Bob Gleason. I'm the director for the purchasing division. I'm joined here by my colleague Sonia Lovett. She's in our transportation purchasing group. She's going to be helping with Q&As, and if you have any color commentary to add, you're welcome to jump in on anything I have to say. So purchasing is funny. I was saying to a colleague here when I came in here today that it's everywhere. Everywhere you look within government and even in the private sector, purchasing is sort of the common denominator between supply and demand to make sure that the organizations get the goods and services that they need, when they need it, how they need it, in order to accomplish their organization's mission, goals, and objectives. Sandy talked about process. It's a process with everything. The challenge is to make it as frictionless as possible. We have to hit all the bases, make sure that all of the code, the laws, the statutes, the policies, we have a lot of scrutiny and oversight in the public sector with regards to, the fiduciary responsibility for the expenditure of public funds. And so we're in between all of you, many of you, and my colleagues here. And this is where the action happens with my colleagues. So Sandy mentioned I've been here a year. One of the things in my experience is there's typically 5 areas where I tend to focus on. The first one is with regards to the purchasing organization is alignment to the organization in terms of its lines of business. And our lines of business are represented up here. So making sure that the personnel and the processes that we have within purchasing are aligned to their needs so that there's less friction and there's more responsiveness to help them get what they need to do done. Second thing is, and I'm going to touch on this in this presentation, is relationship management. We have to focus on client and customer relations to make sure that we understand their needs and we can translate and communicate that to all of you through some form of a solicitation process. So you have alignment, then you have category management. Once we understand the different types of categories of goods and supplies that we have, then we can better organize ourselves to meet and understand those goods and commodities. Third thing is technology. We need the technology tools to make all of that happen. We build the rules into the technology, and Sandy mentioned Periscope, source to government. Is that my phone? I had my timer on. I thought it was telling me.
4 minutes and 30 seconds.
Thank you. So technology, and the last piece is talent, making sure that we have the right people on the bus with the right competencies, the skills, the training, the education, in order to do all of the above that I've stated. Those 5 things: alignment, relationship management, category management, technology, and having the tools in place. We're going to be replacing Periscope S2G probably in the next year. Contract going to be terming out, just a heads up. We have PeopleSoft ERP currently now, but we look at some alternatives either within PeopleSoft or anything else to make it better in the future. So with that, in terms of this is a vendor management office in order to have some sort of a central focus with someone who has some skills and experience with supplier relationship management so that we have a single point of contact for many of the communications that have to go out. And I'm not necessarily talking about solicitations. We have the technology for that. But to the extent that there's questions or concerns about our policies, our procedures, handling disputes at the lowest level, the vendor management office, manned by somebody who understands relationship management principles, can help guide us through that process to make it smoother. Thank you, Mary Bell. 3 minutes. So that should be very helpful for all of you. And let's see here. So Sandy mentioned opportunities. We have all the opportunities going to be talked about here. But we also have risks within the public sector to make sure that everyone performs, and that's on the buyer side as well as the supplier side, in accordance with the contractual terms and the agreements that we have, and to accomplish the goals. So we have to look at things from both sides of that coin, and that's something that the vendor management office will be able to help us with. We're getting ready. We just got the budget approved to man it. We've issued a recruitment, so we're going to be staffing that up in the next month or so. These are some of the goals that we hope to achieve through that. There's a book I read a few years ago on this by a fellow by the name of Stephen Guth, and it embodies many of the principles of relationship management, but it puts it into a procurement and contracting context. And so this office, we're starting out with one person. They'll embody many of these principles and then embed them within our procurement processes going forward. Now we're getting set to go. We're getting ready to create it. We're going to have a web page with information on there to support not only our clients here within the county, but also outside with the supplier base. So I mentioned in the beginning alignment, one of the key core principles that I'm looking to do. The vendor management office will help us be able to align up ourselves with the supply base that's out there. I don't know if anybody remembers this character, but I think his name was Oddball. But I remember saying, he used to say, what's with the negative waves, the negative waves? I'm more about positive waves. We talk about results, and I refer to that as R2. Currently, who in here, let me see a show of hands, who loves procurement, purchasing? Who loves purchasing? Okay, I got a show of 3 hands, 4. All right, so that's R1. That's the current results, the current state. R2 in the future, I want to see everybody's hands go up next year when they say, I love procurement, because it's going to be so helpful to you to do business, and that's one of the things that the vendor management office will be able to help us do. Next thing is we're getting ready to propose a surplus property manual. This county doesn't have a purchasing manual. We have a code, we have a set of laws and statutes that we have to follow, but we do not have a purchasing manual. First place I've ever been where that hasn't been the case, but we are intending to develop one. It's going to be a rule book for suppliers, and it embodies all of the policies we have to follow in terms of internal procedures and policies and how we do our business. So that's on the horizon. Next thing is I would propose to have some sort of a vendor's manual, which is where we take the rules in terms of how we do our business. Now, it's in the code, but if any of you have read code and law, well, that's one thing. In theory, everything works in reality, right? But in reality, theory doesn't always work. So you take the theory that's embodied within the code, then you put it down, you reduce it to practices and policies in a playbook or a game book that everybody can follow. That's more the how-to. The law is more about what we need to do. The vendor's manual and the procurement manual will be about how we do it. Talked about alignment. This is something that occurred to me was, so this is what, this is a bomber formation. Time's up. Thank you. Give me 60 seconds. One of the things that occurs, what you don't see, that's what you see, right? You see the planes in the air. What you don't see is that they're in alignment and in formation in order to accomplish a specific mission. You have a lead group, you have an upper group, you have a lower group, and you have a lower group. Each one has a specific goal and mission that they have to perform. This goes to the alignment and what we're doing within our division. And I'll pause there for questions, or we'll leave that to the end.
We'll leave that to the end. Thanks, Bob.
Yep.
And again, guys, I do want you to pay attention. We started with Bob first because he has some innovative ideas and new directions he wants to take the county via purchasing. And again, he and Sonia will be around when we get to the Q&A. But you don't want to miss the fact that we are rolling out a series of workshops with purchasing that really will help you to dive in terms of understanding how to navigate the process. So even for myself, one or two things I heard new today. So I definitely heard that Periscope might be on its way, like a telescope, see it down the road another day. But the manual is going to be a great thing that he wants to put together, a manual that would help not only the county agencies, but the buyers, the vendors, to really understand the processes of purchasing. So Bob, thanks for that idea and the thought that you're going to do that.
If I could say one more thing. I'm looking for questions, but I'm also looking for ideas. The manual that Sandy just mentioned, that'll be exposed publicly. It'll be a publicly facing document that we use internally. So there'll be plenty of opportunity to us to solicit ideas on how to improve things going forward.
Well, thanks, Bob. So Mike's going to come up next, but that's my segue. So here we go, guys. We're getting ready to get to our agencies. And some of our presenters are going to speak about 2 or 3 of the divisions in their organization. Some are going to speak specifically to one. Some are going to speak to activity via the county, and some via the county and the cities. So this is where you get some of the devil in the details about what agencies are going to be doing in this new fiscal year relevant to project activities and contracting opportunities. So Mike, take it away, sir.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here, Sandy. And my name's Mike Pacito. I'm the Chief Development Officer at the Aviation Department. And what I want to do today is just give you a quick overview of some of what's going on at the airport. I'll dive into very quickly about 6 projects. But before I do, Sandy, as you had mentioned, the Aviation Department's recently completed its master plan. And we're going to be implementing phase 1 of that master plan over the next several years.
Yes, Bob, did you give, oh, yeah, you can control it, yeah. Oh, there you go.
Hard to believe. So that's me, that's my contact information, if anybody would like to reach out to me. But before I really delve into the presentation, again, touching in on the master plan, that phase 1 is worth about $3.5 billion right now. God knows what inflation is going to do to it over the next several years. With it embodied in that master plan are some really exciting projects, not only for the Aviation Department, but I think for Broward County as well. 2 of them that stick out in my mind is the Intermodal Center, which is an 8-story multimodal facility. It's going to contain about 7,000 parking spaces, connection not only to the airport, but potentially to the seaport and potentially to regional and county rail as well. So that would end up being a tremendous asset to the county and the airport. And we also are looking at implementing an automated people mover, which is an on-airport circulator, which will tie not only the airport and all of our terminals, parking garages, but will tie us to that intermodal center. I would recommend, right now those projects are in the advanced planning stages, but I would recommend if you're interested in participating in those projects in the future, keep an eye on where those go and where the master plan and how it progresses over the next 12 to 24 months. Specifically though, what projects that we have on the books today that I can discuss, start with Terminal 5. Terminal 5 is a 2-level, 5-gate domestic terminal with complete processing capabilities and connectivity to our garages and to Terminal 4. We've partnered with JetBlue on this development. Estimated budget on this project is about $400 million. There's a DBE goal for construction services set at 15%. JetBlue right now is procuring its construction manager at risk. That procurement is temporarily on hold while we refine our funding plan, but I expect that that is going to be resolved very quickly. And we expect that that procurement should be completed in the 4th quarter of 2022.
Mike, they want you to speak a little closer to your mic.
Absolutely.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Hopefully this is better. Second project I wanted to talk about is our Terminal 1 checked bag resolution area. We call it a CBRA. It's a room expansion over in Terminal 1. That project is going to be unique in the sense that we have to develop a temporary CBRA, demo our existing, and then reconstruct a new so that we can maintain operations at the airport. That project's budgeted at about $17 million, carries a CBE goal of 20%. The project's 100% designed right now. We've initiated a 2-step process where our vendors have been pre-qualified, and we expect construction bidding from shortlisted vendors to take place the 4th quarter of 2022. The next project I want to touch base on is our FLL security enhancements. It's our initial phase at Fort Lauderdale Hollywood, and it involves upgrading our security infrastructure, including fiber optic and surveillance equipment for our south runway. That project budget is about $4 million with a CBE goal of 25%. Currently, that project's under design, and we anticipate bidding of the construction services in the 1st quarter of 2023.
Use your clicker, Mike.
The next project I would like to discuss is our Terminal 3 chiller plant generator replacement. This involves the installation of 3 emergency power generators, plant upgrades, and an underground diesel storage tank. Project budget is $10 million with an established DBE goal of 15%. The design documents have been completed on this project, and we anticipate bid on the street for construction services in the first quarter of 2023. The next 2 projects and will be the last 2 that I'll speak to, are in reference to our roadway systems at the airport. If you've been, and I know you have, to our airport, you understand that we have some landside restrictions there, and opportunities for improvement that have been identified. Particularly coming out of the master plan was our short-term roadway improvement project, which is designed to relieve traffic congestion on our terminal roadway system. Budget for that project is $10 million. DBE goal is 28%. We're at 100% design with construction expected to be bid in the first quarter of 2023. And the last project that I will touch base on is our Terminal Drive upper level improvements. This project includes some structural repairs to that roadway system, particularly to the girders and replacement of some bearing pads. It's going to be a unique project because we're actually going to have to jack the roadway system about an inch, which is going to present some challenges while that roadway is maintained operational. That budget for the project is $10 million with CBE goals still to be established. Project is currently under design, and we anticipate construction services out for bid in the first quarter of 2024. That's all the projects that I specifically would like to talk about, but I'm happy to answer any questions at the end of this.
Thank you, Mike. And again, guys, remember, this PowerPoint will be made available on our website next week. And now we're going to move to, I'm going to say it the right way, MAP. Ms. Cassini will share with us about MAP.
That's Matt Broward, Sandy. Matt Broward.
See, I still messed up. MAP Broward.
Matt Broward, funded by
MAP
the County
Broward.
for Transportation. And I will definitely try to stay under my 7 minutes. Thank you so much. Welcome to all of you. It's a pleasure to be here. This is the first time I've had the opportunity to participate because I'm going to focus specifically today on municipal projects. So municipal projects that are being funded with the transportation surtax. My colleagues in the Transportation Department and Public Works will be speaking with you later about other large projects that county agencies are doing using the surtax. But in case you were not aware, the county commission, before the ballot initiative was even voted upon, placed a 30% CBE goal on all eligible surtax projects, and that penetrates down to the municipal projects. So for any municipal project that's valued at more than $250,000, the Office of Economic and Small Business Development is reviewing that project and establishing a goal if it is eligible. We have about $177 million programmed for municipal projects through 2026. And I'm going to go through some of the details of those projects with you right now. Oh, sorry, I'm already ahead of myself. We have roadway improvements, bridge repairs, resiliency, which is really primarily roadway drainage, sometimes some bridge elevation projects, bike and pedestrian enhancements, safety like traffic calming projects, and we have roadway lighting. Those are the primary project types that you'll see in the municipal projects. So here, let me start off with some of the capital projects. And we do separate our municipal projects into capital and rehabilitation and maintenance. We have two Deerfield Beach projects that we expect to see going out for competitive solicitation in 2023. We have a Fort Lauderdale project, 2 in Lauderdale Lakes, 1 in Margate, and 1 in Miramar. 1 in Sunrise, 1 in Wilton Manors. Then we have rehabilitation and maintenance projects in Hollandale Beach, Margate, and Oakland Park. And one of the important things to understand about the municipal projects is that they are managed by the individual municipalities. So the individual municipalities get a surtax grant from us, from MAP Broward, and then they go through their own solicitation and procurement process. So if you're interested in bidding on any of the municipal projects that you just saw, and I know I went quickly, but you can always go back and take a look in more detail, either on our website or on OESBD's website when they post these next Tuesday. I think it's very important for you all to understand that whatever solicitation tool the individual municipalities use is how you will find out about these solicitations. Until we are able, and we are working on this right now, we are trying to centralize the information about all surtax-related solicitations in one place. And that we're hoping will be something that we can do in the upcoming fiscal year for county projects, and then we'll phase in the municipal projects. But again, it will still be managed by each individual municipality. If you'd like to know more about all of the surtax projects that have been completed so far, or that are underway and in construction or design or planning, or if you'd like to know what's coming on the horizon, we just, as Sandy stated, we just started our new fiscal year, which means that we have a new 5-year plan, which runs through fiscal year 2027 now. All of the projects that are being programmed from now until 2027 are available for you on this public project dashboard. Feel free to scan that QR code if you're interested. And if you'd like to receive more information or find out about events related to the Mobility Advancement Program, you can subscribe to our newsletter. And I'm always willing to come out to you and talk to folks in the community. We do lots of presentations, and I'm always available to take your questions or your telephone calls. And with that, I appreciate your time.
Thanks, Gretchen. And one of the things I'll expound on that Gretchen mentioned relevant to the municipalities, and you definitely need to know because you'll be using their platforms for their bids. But we're not going to make you search crazy. It's 31 cities. I think Gretchen would tell you 27 or 28 of them, 29, beautiful, have their ILAs done. That means they're participating. But once again, if you get my Wednesday night newsletter, I hope you do. But if you don't, you can still go to my website. And when you go to our resource guide for MAP Broward, you'll see all of the cities, which platform, and the contact person. We already did that work for you because we want to make sure that you understand as you hear more about municipal MAP Broward projects in the municipalities. I don't want you waiting on Broward County's Periscope bid platform to see what Dania's doing, to see what Margate's doing, to see what Wilton Manor's doing. Those cities go through our process, but they do their own procurement. So on our website and in that Wednesday night newsletter, there's always a link that will take you to all the contacts for the cities, all of their actual platforms, and the information about their projects. So thanks again, Gretchen. Really appreciate that.
Thanks, Sandy.
All right. And next we're going to have up, Mike is going to talk to you about Parks and Rec. And I used to joke with Dan West, our director, and I say Parks and Rec is not your old Parks and Rec, because our Parks and Rec does quite a bit. And I know Mike won't have the opportunity to tell you all the things that we do, but when it comes to small business and opportunities, Parks and Rec is one of the key agencies where small businesses have opportunities because a lot of their scale, a lot of their activities fit our businesses. Mike?
Thank you, Sandy. I appreciate it. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Mike Fayos with Parks and Recreation, as Sandy said. Two of my colleagues are also here. They're going to assist with during questioning, and that's Sarah Townsend and Kelton Harvey. Broward County Parks includes 50 regional parks, nature centers, and neighborhood parks, and encompasses nearly 6,500 acres. Our projects are generally smaller. It's not as large as the projects you heard earlier, but we have projects. We do a lot of nice projects that we are very proud of. I'm going to go through some of the existing projects that we are currently working on, just so you see the sampling of it. We are doing some restroom with laundry facility in one of our parks. We do some building renovations. We do parking lots. We do a splash pad. That's a new one we are building right now. Playground with shaded structures, restroom facility with picnic shelters, underground utility work, roadway and stormwater improvements, irrigation system, playground surfacing and replacement. That's a lot of our parks resurface the playgrounds often, so that's an area that we need your assistance. Lighting, and some occasionally we build nature centers and community centers. Some of the projects that are coming up soon and we wanted to share with you is and then the largest project we currently have in our plans is Tradewinds Park North. This project, we are basically redoing the entire park. The site improvement will include walkways, site furnishing, lighting, shelters, playgrounds, shade structures, splash pad, landscaping, irrigation, and a demonstration garden. That's a real large project, and it's really interesting project. When it's done, I hope you all go at least visit it. The project also will include entrance gatehouse, an open venue building. This is about a little over 5,000 square foot, large open venue building with restroom facilities. We are also including a welcome center in this project, and this welcome center in this project, and the building is approximately 5,000 square feet, and it will include food concession, retail space, educational exhibits, and restrooms. We will also have an animal barn and an educational area in this project. The design of the project is complete, and we are doing the final review of the plans, and we hope to go out to bid early next year. The estimated value of this project is $14 million. Like I said, for us, that's a large project. We are working on a couple of smaller projects. We have a 2,400 square foot pre-engineering building we are working on. The design is underway, and we anticipate going to bid on this project in 2023. And the value of this project is $1 million. We are working on some mooring field project. It's in Hollywood North Beach area. Design of the project is complete. We are currently working with permitting agencies to get the permits worked out, and we anticipate going out to bid on this project in next year also. The estimated value of this project is about $3 million. We have a small building we are designing. It's about 1,300 square foot. It's a multi-purpose building. We anticipate going out to bid win this project also next year. The estimated value of this is about $800,000. We are planning on a project. It's a pedestrian bridge and a canoe launching area. The value of it is about $500,000. It's in early planning stages. We also have this parking lot, full reconstruction of an existing parking lot in Hollywood North Beach area. We are basically going to rebuild the entire project, which includes underground utilities, lighting, landscaping, irrigation, and some park amenities like shelters and shaded structures and things like that. The estimated value of that project is about $4 million. The project is still in planning stages. We also have some playgrounds that we are working on, so hopefully early next year we put these projects out to bid as well. We anticipate bidding and awarding approximately $20 million worth of projects next year. And we obviously hope you all participate in procurement of those projects. And thank you.
Thanks, Mike. And again, the slides will be on our website next week. And as you saw, Mike, and you saw some of the PowerPoint slides, as with aviation, as with some of my other presenters, you're here who are at the 17, 20, 30, 40, $300 million projects, you saw some of the sweet spots that Mike was speaking to, 500,000, 700,000, 1 million, 1.8. So again, those normally go out. And when we have the opportunity with Mike and Parks and Rec and Dan West, the director, to reserve CBE, we do, because it's within that wheelhouse. But even if it ends up being a goal, I always encourage the CBEs. If Mike and Dan put, say, $3 million project out, and I still affix a 30% goal, if you're a CBE and got capacity, go after the $3 million project. Do the goal requirement yourself, or go find a CBE to do the goal requirement, but begin to manage projects overall as CBEs, especially when the dollar value fits your wheelhouse. So thanks again, Mike, for sharing that information. Okay, Israel, you tell us what's happening over at Port Everglades.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Sandy. Appreciate it. Thanks, everyone, for coming, taking a Friday afternoon to listen to us. Let me talk to you a little bit about Port Everglades. I am the Assistant Director of Seaport Engineering and Construction. This is just a little picture of what we've got going on. There's a lot of stuff going on at the port. Some of these projects are very large, but as Sandy said many times over, require the participation of CBEs, which we've had in the past continuously. Attest your Assistant Director, who I call on every day, to assist me with getting CBE gold participations for all our projects. Thank you, Maribel. The Cruise Passenger Terminal 4, Sandy mentioned, is our, I can't say that, Disney project that's coming to the port. And although we have a contractor on board, they've done their outreach and will continue to do the outreach to invite CBEs to participate. The nature of the project is mostly interior renovations. We will add exterior glass tower, has to look like Disney. It's a great deal of marine hardware improvement for their vessels, which are very large. There'll be a tremendous amount of electronics, cabling, low voltage, TVs, speakers, sound system, all kinds of that level of work that's important to bring into it. Partitions, casework, fenders and bollards. And it's really a small project for us. A $30 million project is small, but it requires a great deal of attention. It is, after all, the guy with the little rabbit ears. This is the following project. It's a much larger project. This one is sensitive in time. We, the port, own the entrance channel north wall, as well as berths 1 through 3. Now that's important because the convention center and hotel expansion depend on our replacement of these bulkheads on a timely basis in order for everything to fall into place with the expansion of the convention center. Large project, $80 million. Notice in the slide it says Group 1. In blue in that same slide are the other groups following in the future, so be on the lookout if this one doesn't fall into your wheelhouse. There'll be others. And with the design complete, we're going to be hitting the street to engage with a managing general contractor very soon. Next, we have the consolidated maintenance facility. We don't have all of our maintenance under one roof and need to do so. This facility is under design. We're into schematic design at this particular point. We will be looking out for an MGC, managing general contractor, to conduct the work. It is a brand new facility. It'll have everything but the kitchen sink in it. Some of the things we're going to have in it are training rooms, offices, facilities for maintenance folks to conduct their business. And it literally has got everything but the kitchen sink. Be on the lookout for it. This is important for us, and it should be right in your target too. Next is Westlake Park Phase 4. This is from Sheridan Street, north and south. There's 16 little islands that require a great deal of attention. There's tree removal, overgrown vegetation attention. There's some riprap cribs that need to be installed. For that process of construction, there's going to be maintenance of traffic, reef ball installation. We want to relocate some corals. We know they're in place. There'll be signage. It's a 2-year construction project with a 5-year monitoring process throughout. So there's a potential for a great deal through it. $27 million, ready to go. As soon as we get final review from purchasing, we're going to be hitting the street with it. Next is Slip 1. All that chicken scribble you see there basically means that the current slip is not wide enough. We need to widen it so that there's less land, more water, and we can bring in bigger fuel ships to unload fuel for use in the 6 lower counties within Florida. Very significant project, $185 million. It'll take 3.5 years to construct. We've got partnerships with Florida Department of Environmental Protection to do remediation of contaminated soils. There's all kinds of things that need to be done. Please be on the lookout. We definitely could use a great deal of horizontal construction folks in the business to participate. The last major project we have is the need to have consulting services by capital project management team. At present, we have a team with us. We are going to be hitting the street to renew the program and the process. Be on the lookout. These folks are the extension of who we are and what we do. Engineers, accountants, plan reviewers, field inspectors, all kinds of things associated with the projects we have for marine infrastructure, upcoming projects beyond those already shown to you guys. So there's a great deal of things coming down the pike, cruise terminals, container yards, all kinds of things that we do at the port. Now, these are the big projects, and there's air conditioning replacement, there's painting, there's roofing, and we look to the county's facilities maintenance to dovetail into what the county has to do what we do at the port. We've got well over 1.25 million square feet of cruise passenger terminal facilities alone. So we've got plenty to do at the port, and it's constant. With that, I'm done.
Israel, thank you. And based on or definitely emphasizing your last slide, that's just another one of the examples beyond the actual trades, the consulting opportunity that they're looking to help assist and manage the projects as they plan to roll them out. So thanks for sharing that. So next we got Rob Dennis, but here's one of the things about Rob you want to pay attention. He's not going to probably just be talking about one department or division. He might share a vast number of projects in the different departments and divisions. And if he ever needed a go-to person, sitting down here in the front row is our director, Mr. Trevor Fisher. So Trevor will be around at the end if we got Q&As for him. Hopefully you got some Q&As for him. If you don't have Q&As for him, I'm gonna give you a couple of Q&A to give Trevor. But right now, Rob, on you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you, Sandy. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the workshop. You're right, I'd like to acknowledge our esteemed leader of the Public Works Department Director, Mr. Trevor Fisher, and we've got a newly appointed Deputy Director, Mr. Carlos Acosta. He's in the back
Carlos,
there.
stand up.
Stand
It's
up.
too late now.
Yeah.
There you go. Thank you, Carlos. Welcome.
Thank you. Okay. Welcome to the county, Carlos. So we've got over 1,000 plus dedicated employees in Public Works, and we manage a plethora of services for the county. The department consists of a number of divisions, and I'll kind of name them: construction management, traffic engineering, facilities management, solid waste and recycling services, the highway bridge maintenance division, the water wastewater services, highway construction engineering, and we've also recently acquired the real property division. So I'll touch on a few of the selected opportunities offered by these divisions within our department. So the first opportunity is the Broward County Convention Center expansion and headquarters project. It's managed by the Public Works Department, and within this project, we've got significant key elements. It's strategically located at the 17th Street and Eisenhower Boulevard intersection and next to the port. And we've got a significant expansion of the existing convention center to the west, which is now completed, and we're currently working on the east expansion portion. Large portion of the project is the new 800-room hotel. but also we're expanding the plaza space to accommodate a number of restaurants, key featured restaurants. The image you see on the screen is the east expansion portion, which will provide a number of extended ballroom facilities, including meeting room spaces, somewhere in the region of about 400,000 square feet of expansion. Significant to the project is the hotel portion, which consists of a 29-story high-rise building, 800 guest rooms, consisting of 10-story podium, and it includes the retail, dining, parking, amenities, and event space, surrounded by the bar, restaurants, and a rooftop lounge area. The hotel will actually provide direct access to the county convention center. There'll be multiple dining establishments that will be accommodated within the building, and it will be adjacent to the plaza restaurants. This project, because of the scale of it, we've divided the project into a number of packages. So there are 5 GMPs, which amount to somewhere in the region of $1 billion, which will facilitate an opportunity for $287+ million worth of CBE goals. The hotel itself, in terms of the construction value, is in the region of $550 million. So that's pretty significant. The developer and the design builder is currently buying out trades. They're about 18% through the existing GMP4 and GMP5 opportunities. So there's a significant opportunity now for trades to come in. One of our other divisions, the Construction Management Division, which focuses on new buildings and major renovations, I have a number of projects listed here. We've got approximately 27 projects amounting to about $178 million worth of work, offering an opportunity of about $41 million in CBE opportunities. And that includes projects like the property appraiser, new building, the supervisor of elections, new building. Highway construction project opportunities amounting to somewhere in the region of $34 million, with opportunities for CBE engagement of about $10 million. That includes the adaptive traffic signal systems project. Highway bridge and maintenance division opportunities include the bridge maintenance program, guardrail repair, but also giving an opportunity of about $16 million in CBE activities. The traffic engineering division offering opportunities in the region about $480,000, which includes the mast arm and the street lighting infrastructure projects. And lastly, the water, wastewater services projects amounting to somewhere about $3.8 million in terms of opportunities. So with that, I'm going to wrap up. But as you can see, there are plenty of opportunities, fantastic opportunities for our contracting and consulting services throughout the department. So thank you.
Rob, thank you. And you heard me mention Mr. Gleason earlier as the purchasing director. He's already done a workshop with me. I have a series called Meet the Director. I want you to know that that's already on our website, and you can get more details about Mr. Gleason and his background and some of his thoughts. But I'm saying that because we've also done the same with Mr. Fisher. Actually, Trevor, Mr. Fisher for Public Works, was the first director on my Meet the Directors. And he shared information as when he first came over to explain who he is, how he's going to run his operation, and his thoughts and philosophy and gold nuggets, his tips in terms of small businesses working with his multiple agencies. So if you get a chance, you definitely want to go back to our website and take a look at those Meet the Director past videos. Okay, so next, we're going to hear from Transportation. Aretha is here to share transportation, Broward County Transit, which is doing quite a bit, inclusive of MAP Broward, but just on their own in the direction that they're going.
Thank you, and welcome, everyone. We are always excited to be here. We have a lot going on in our transportation department. I know a lot of people know us as Transit, but we're a little bit more than that. So I'm here to present as many projects as I could on slides, as many as my 7 minutes allow, but you guys will have an opportunity to get this information. And I wanted to include everything. We have very, very large projects, very small projects. Our department is made up of, like Public Works, several divisions. We have our capital programs division, which encompasses our transit facilities maintenance section, bus rapid transit, electric bus program. We have our operations division. We have a finance and administration division, strategic planning and scheduling division, or rail division, and fleet services. So you'll see projects from all those divisions ranging from anywhere from 25 million down to a purchase of trailers for 100,000 or 300,000. So all of that is included in the information I'm presenting today. Just to point out, we have, like Gretchen mentioned, we have over $1 billion in surtax funded projects for next 5 years. Most of that, of course, capital type projects. But in addition to that, our department is funded by local currency funds, and we get federal transportation administration dollars. So all of that, those dollars bubble up to different types of goals that we get from the small business division. So you'll see on the information I'm sharing where the opportunity CBE or DBE and the goals associated with that. We wanted to highlight initially some of our more exciting and bigger projects that we have coming. A lot of you know that we're doing and implementing new high-capacity transit here in the county, rail, bus rapid transit, and we're in the initial and some advanced planning of some of those projects, and we have some of those contracts to come out in Q1 and Q2 of this year. So just to start off, wanted to showcase some of the bigger projects. The rail projects are large, cost per mile for those projects are big, but we're at the point now where we finished developing specifications for a lot of our planning and environmental type specs, and we're ready to advertise those contracts. First, here, I wanted to really highlight these three. First is a vertically integrated project management contract for support and oversight of capital projects. Those people that will come in to support staff are engineers, planners, cost estimators, project schedulers, project managers. That contract is estimated at $17.5 million. That will be procured in Q1 of 2023. We also have on tap our high-capacity rail corridor planning and engineering contract. That's to procure service for airport to seaport rail connector. Our airport friends spoke about the intermodal center. We're going to tie into that and construct rail tying the airport to the seaport and to the new convention center that Rob mentioned earlier. That's an $18 million project that we'll be doing PD&E, project development, environmental study, on concept to determine alignment and technology for that project. In addition, we're also putting out a general engineering services contract for substantially similar public transit rail construction activities. That contract is valued at $25 million, 30% surtax goal. All the projects mentioned are surtax funded and 30% goals. That contract will be advertised in Q1 of 2023. That professional services contract will provide us with the opportunity to do some turnkey type projects related to utility relocation, specialized rail signalization, rail facilities design, things like that. That's an offshoot of some of the bigger rail projects like Broward Commuter Rail or any of the other rail projects that we'll be doing. Some of the projects in our capital programs division, we're advertising for construction engineering support services. While we put separate contracts out for design, we always separate the construction inspection services contracts. That's a $1.9 million contract that also will be advertised in Q1 2023. Our transit facilities maintenance, told you I was going to mix it up, $480,000 contract. That's to procure vendor for inspection and preventive maintenance and repair services for our transit facilities maintenance division folks. Transit infrastructure in our capital programs, we are going to put out a contract, and this is a construction contract for $2.2 million. Also in Q1, this is federally funded, so this will have DBE goals of 25%. The intent of this contract will be used to support the construction associated with facilities improvement, bus stop improvements, bus shelter installation, anything to do with transit facilities. In addition, we're excited, we're doing electric buses. We're going 100% with our electric bus fleet, going to 100% by 2035. Associated with that is the charging infrastructure. That's handled, designed, and constructed under Capital Programs Division. I don't think I introduced myself. I'm the Assistant General Manager for Capital Programs and the Transit Facilities Maintenance, BRT sections. So we're excited about the electrification, and you may hear that in my voice. We've procured the first 12 buses. We're ordering another 32 buses that'll be delivered in March of 2023, and we're going to be constructing infrastructure to support that. So that's $3.8 million to support that. We'll be doing construction at our Copens Road facility and also putting in on-route chargers at the West Terminal facility in Plantation. Some other facilities improvement projects that we have coming up, we'll be putting out a $300,000 contract to procure office trailers for placement at transit terminals. That'll be a commodities contract. Let me see, I have a lot. I'm going to jump to our Service and Strategic Planning section. They have a APC, automatic passenger counters contract coming out. That's $2 million. That'll be procured in second quarter of '23. They also have a comprehensive operation analysis and system optimization contract. That's a $2 million contract, also Surtax funded. That will come out in Q2. And I'm here for questions after. Anyone needing additional details on the specifications, I'll be happy to speak to that. Just wanted to get a lot of information out as possible, and all we have going, all the work we do, we need really good vendors to support that and help us implement our programs. Another project coming out of our Service and Strategic Planning group is a community micro transit project. This is a new service for us, so we'll be putting out a contract to support that service in 2023. IT administration and administration. So lots of things that we buy and procure for IT. We'll be putting out an RFP for professional service for a new CAD AVL system that's placed on our buses and in our yards. We'll be procuring for pedestrian and bicycle collision avoidance system. The budget is to be determined, and in Q2, we'll be putting those out. We're now finalizing the specs. The maintenance and repair, we are looking at a $3.2 million contract to procure authorized coming service facility as vendors to help us with the rebuilding of engines for buses. Fleet services. We'll have an automatic car wash service contract for $65,000. Will be procured in Q2. Towing and roadside services contract for $206,000 procured in Q2. So quarter two, just a lot out of transit. We have lofty goals in transit. We're trying to become a world-class transit agency. We're going to get there with the help of everyone in this room, whether it's professional services, commodities that we buy, or the maintenance repair contracts that we need to help us keep the buses on the road. Thank you, and I am here for questions after.
Aretha, thank you. But I want to talk about something for a minute. So for our audience, please pay attention. Transit spoke to what I often get questions about on our consulting side, implementation side, integration side, relevant to IT. So she's saying on the record, there's going to be IT activity. We just came out of a workshop where we had several vendors asking about security systems and CCTVs. That's also a part of her PowerPoint. But I'm asking you a question. Do you know offhand the current vendor, and I'll explain why later, that you're currently dealing with the CAD AVL?
Yes,
Is that the one out of state?
ISR, correct.
Okay, so let me say that out loud because this has been a part of the original presentations when we were actually starting Penny for Transportation Surtax, now MAP Broward. One of the things that the county has to do, one of the things that transit is challenged with, we need what we need. And as a county, on behalf of the taxpayers' dollars, we got to get it where we can get it. There's a few items that we now procure competitively out of state. That is a part of our mission and our drive to make sure that locally, our vendors and potential commodity firms are aware that we buy this out of state. There's an actual MAP Broward Surtax slide that I do with the oversight board every quarter at their meeting, because I'm also 1 year away from doing what our next step is as small business. When MAP Broward, Penny for Transportation, rolled out, the intent was to take the first 2 years, make sure every single local small business was aware of what this was and what the impact and opportunity was. It then was supposed to take the third year. I'm in the third year. Keep informing our small business, but begin to inform the business community of what opportunities may be available, because we still have 27 more years to go of surtax. Year 4, I'm supposed to leave the state. And I'm supposed to be going to these out-of-state organizations, reminding them, I'm glad you won a competitive opportunity in Broward County. And we got 26 more years of this going, and by the time we're on 23rd year, they'll probably extend it another 30 years. So with that being said, for workforce development, I have to encourage those firms, you need to move to Broward. You need to come to South Florida. I need to make sure that our folks are having more jobs within your industry based on the things we're buying. But the whole objective is, if I can't encourage them to do that, we have to start forming opportunities where businesses in Florida, specifically Broward, have the capacity to provide what we're going to be buying for years. So why would we allow a MAP Broward surtax, which is approximately $355 million a year, every year, for 30 years, 27 more to go, short side of $16.8 billion, for things we need to improve transportation and its operation. The dollars can be used for infrastructure, including the cities, and you also heard the future of rail. Why would we want to spend your tax dollars? And on this slide, I have Tennessee, I have Michigan, and now I can't even think of the third one. See there? Tennessee, I got 3 states that I have to target, because there's multiple things that we currently competitively buy that we believe we should find in Broward. We believe I should find, if I'm not in Broward, in South Florida. If I can't find it in South Florida, I should certainly be trying to find it in the state. That's why when we do the program process people, and I want our small businesses to connect the dots, I want you to understand that there's a website right now that speaks to all of the municipal projects, as well as the county proposed projects. And based on your industry, like me talking about the IT stuff, there's this thing that we want to become, and you heard Aretha also mention it, we want to become a smart county. So there's going to be a whole lot going into becoming a smart county, and different than a lot of master plans across the country, everybody got a great idea, and everybody can write a plan. But who has the resources or the funding dedicated to implement the plan? Broward actually has it. So I want you to pay attention to not only her PowerPoint when you get this next week, but if you're really interested, if these are your industries, understand the things that we're currently buying, understand the things we're looking to buy, and if it sounds like you, make sure you reach out to these departments, reach out to our office, and get more of that devil in the detail. So I wanted to share that because, again, that CAD AVL was one of the ones that caught me right off the bat. That's something on the IT side that has to be somebody in Florida if not Broward, can provide that services for all of our units. So thanks again. So now for our partner. Nisa is here and she's going to share with us what's happening at Broward Sheriff's, and her presentation, because she's done it a few times for me, but this is going to be new information. The reason why we also embrace what they do, she does have a program that also speak to some of the smallest of procurements. Some of those that might not be a part of a big bid and a whole presentation that take 4 to 5 months to go through. She has staff that also do things relevant to quotes when it's coming to different commodities and different things thereby. So it's important that our small businesses recognize here in Broward County, the Broward Sheriff's also procures quite a bit.
So thank you, Sandy. And yes, we appreciate and thank you for asking us to participate in this, and thank you all for attending. I have to say, though, as a resident who lives and works in Broward County, listening to all of you and all the exciting projects that are happening in Broward County is pretty incredible. And I can't wait to get the PowerPoint myself and look through what you all are doing. It's pretty crazy. So what I wanted to share with all of you is that as the Broward Sheriff's Office is not a part of Broward County government. And oftentimes when we get requests, whether it's from vendors or whoever, residents in the community, they oftentimes confuse Broward County with the Broward Sheriff's Office. We are separate. We get our funding from the county, but we are a separate legal entity. Also, and the reason why we have, and you'll see, later you'll see our funding is a little bit different because it comes through the county. Broward County Broward Sheriff's Office as a constitutional office cannot own real property. The county does, and so like the public safety building where I work right now was constructed by Broward County, not by the Broward Sheriff's Office. So most of what we do is services based, and construction would be like not construction, but repairs, other than we recently had a partnership with Broward County where we did do an exciting project, which is the training center that is under construction. If you go by the PSB on Broward and 27th, you'll see it going up right now. So that's pretty incredible. We are comprised, just so you know a little bit about BSO, we're comprised of the Department of Law Enforcement, Detention, which is our jail system, Fire Rescue. We are unique in that Fire Rescue is a part of the Broward Sheriff's Office, and the Department of Administration, which is where I work. Our budget is much less. It's about $170 million in terms of what we actually buy. I'm hearing like they're small, like $1 billion, and their smaller projects are 30 million. Us, not so much. But I think that there's opportunity for many of you with that. I did want to, and just as Sandy said, I did want to walk you through a little bit about what we look at as small purchases and our formal solicitation process. So for purchases of $10,000 or less, only one quote is required. $10,000 to $50,000, 2 quotes. $50,000 to $100,000, 3 quotes. And above that, a formal solicitation process is required for the Broward Sheriff's Office. I'm going to put in a little plug for the Broward Sheriff's Office. In April of each year, we do our own workshop, which I would encourage you to all attend to be looking for it. I don't have the exact date right now. The reason for it and why I think that's important and why a forum like this is very important is a lot of what we do, yes, we have the formal solicitation, and like Sandy said, by the time you get to that, that's all well and good. But a lot of the business that the Broward Sheriff's Office does is based on quotes. That means building relationships between you and the Broward Sheriff's Office. So at our workshop, we have many of the various departments within the Broward Sheriff's Office represented there, where you can actually meet the major or the captain or whoever who oversees various different areas of DLE, of the Department of Detention. You can meet the director who oversees our facilities, the IT director. This is an opportunity for all of you to come in and attend and build those relationships, because it's not going to be a formal solicitation which you're going to see we do have that, but But these are not, you're not going to see it posted on BidSync Periscope. So I would encourage you all to attend that and start, and help us build those relationships with you. So what do we buy? Again, building repairs and maintenance, much smaller again than the county, but we do have those projects. Department of Detention, we do, like, it's more repair, maintenance of the jail facilities. Fire rescue supplies, we're gonna be next week posting a solicitation, which you can find on sheriff.org. All of our solicitations, if you go to sheriff.org and you go to, I think it's Department of Administration, you'll find procurement, and on that webpage, you'll see all of our solicitations that are posted there. And we're going to be posting emergency medical supplies. Inmate health, we're working on now, that's one of our larger solicitations. It's in excess of $30 million a year. And we should be posting that at the end of December, somewhere, or most likely January of 2023. Janitorial services was just posted today, so again, we're services-based, not really construction-based. But there's many of you, I think, that who are in the service industry, who are small business, and can benefit by some of the things that we do. So we encourage you to look at that solicitation and respond. Just so you know, going in, when you're looking at, in the Broward Sheriff's Office, in terms of responding to our solicitations, if you actually are awarded a contract and you come into our facilities, just so you know, we do have, as a public safety building and services, and with our accreditation standards, there is an extensive background process for anybody who comes into the building and any of our contractors. Solicitation methods, I think, are pretty, invitation to bid, RLI, RFP. Our invitation to bid is just, low bid wins. We do a lot of that. But we also do an RLI and RFP process where factors other than cost are reviewed. So for me, one of the things that I think is very hard for vendors, and this is one of the ways that the BSO really appreciates Broward County, is that we try to partner with them and not duplicate the work that all of you do. So many governments have their own SBE, CBE rules, and what we looked at BSO is the largest procurement body in, I think, this county is Broward County. And so to avoid duplication of efforts, what we've done in our partnership is BSO says that if you are a CBE or an SBE of Broward County, you're good with the sheriff's office. And so there isn't a separate process. The other part about what we do when we were looking, and we have Periscope BidSync as well, is when we developed that, decided on using that as our sourcing software, we again looked at the county and looked at what they are doing. So I am very interested in speaking to your purchasing director now that I know you're looking at perhaps doing something else, because while we could keep Periscope, and I'm not, I don't know what we'll do, I do think that avoiding duplication of efforts and making it easier for vendors that once you register currently right now on Periscope, if you're registered with the county, you're registered again with BSO. If you're an SBE or CBE, because you designate that in BidSync, we automatically know that. We automatically know that and accept that in our procurement process as well. And we appreciate that, and we intend to continue to do that. So this is just about Periscope BidSync and what you need to do for time's up. But I just want to say that for when you register on BidSync, it is free. That was important for BSO and not selecting other sourcing software. We want to make sure, again, that it's easier for vendors. We want to encourage competition. And I'll just wrap it up. This is our, and you'll see this on when you get the presentations, you will see all of our agents and contact information there so if you want to call us, we welcome you. We welcome you to do that. Thank you.
No, thank you. And as a reminder, so I'm sure that purchasing will make sure whatever decision we're doing down the road in advance, we speak and make sure that Broward Sheriff's Office is also aware of those directions that we're probably gonna go. But also, I like the part that Nisa said that is key. I just did a podcast with a group on yesterday or either Wednesday, and I told them that she was gonna be here, and I also told them about the process. This is where you really can build the relationship. So much of what she just shared in the slide talked about those quotes. That's about relationships. So at the end of the day, you want folks to know who you are. We even took a page out of their book a few years back, and we do this thing called a reverse trade show. So we get with our cabs, county agency buyers, and we bring our cabs to a room or a location. We ask our small businesses to come meet the cabs so that the cabs would know when they're doing their quotes who you are, what you have as an access. Procurement has a process within what they currently do in my SBE realm that they also make quotes, get quotes, 2 quotes, 3 quotes, or so forth. So when you have it that way, different than the formal traditional bid, it is about building a relationship and making sure those cabs or making sure those representatives at least have your contact information when they're looking to make that quick procurement for $1,500, $2,000, $35, or whatever that realm is. So that's key for us to know. What we want to make sure that you also know is that other agencies in the county also have opportunities for consulting services, direct services, and some vertical construction and activity. Again, we would be here to 6 o'clock if I had all of my counterparts and all of my county agencies, but we did ask a few of them to send their information. So once again, when you get the PowerPoint, when you have access to the PowerPoint, there's a few additional agencies other than those who are here who also shared some slides about things they'll be doing in this new fiscal year, which started 6 days ago. So we wanted to make sure that you had that information. So all of the things relevant to art and the public art administrator, their information is available. The same thing was true when we had ETS, we had art, and we also have, I got one more, I think. But again, these PowerPoints will all be available. Who was this last one, Vanetta? Oh, for LOD, and I mentioned that earlier. That's that learning and development. And we're excited about that because by the time we really formed that in February, the vendors we sent to be consultants to do the facilitations of the leadership development, management training, peer relations, whatever the different agencies needed, our CBEs are still currently being paid. Actually, Gretchen isn't here now. One of our former CBEs now, she just won the prime bid to do the focus group on behalf of MAP that wants to make sure that the business community and the residential community in Broward is aware of MAP. And that was a competitive opportunity, and one of our firms won that. So we added these few slides so that you would know the other things that a few other agencies are looking for. So that's where we are now, gang. We're at that Q&A. And we want to take as many questions as we can. I would ask, if you're asking a question, let's be respectful to the fact that if you're asking a question, let's see if you can ask a single question, clear and concise, and we'll try to answer that question just as clear and concise. But again, after we get through the questions, that is our opportunity for you to meet these men and women up here. So don't want to reduce the number of questions, but I know many of you are also here because you definitely want to see these individuals one-on-one, and we want to give you that opportunity. So with that, here's the first question.
Oh, thanks.
Go right ahead.
Good afternoon. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay. I believe your name is Aretha Douglas. My name is Nicole Aretha. I represent Turn 2 Electric and Turn 2 Solar.
Yes.
The electric charging stations for the buses piqued my interest. I'm very interested in bidding for that. When will the bid opportunity be available?
All right, just to speak a little bit quickly about the specs, what is going to be advertised is the construction and the installation of the charge.
I understand.
Specification is being developed, and we anticipate sending that over to our purchasing folks in another 2 months.
2 months.
So somewhere early in this first quarter, we anticipate advertising the first project, which is the installation of, I'm going to talk to you, pantographs, these are capacitive type fast chargers.
Okay.
That will charge our buses en route. So first quarter of that project, second quarter for installation of other chargers at our Copens Road facility.
Got it. Thanks.
Good afternoon, Ronnie Calix with DC Cyber. For Aretha, you spoke about IT. I wanted to ask you, your agency, are you guys, what's your laser focus on cybersecurity? Any of the departments are focusing on cybersecurity?
Well, security for the county on the IT side is handled by our ETS, the division, not transit. So our transit folks that are IT placed kind of report through that division to our department. So that element is handled by another county division and not transit. So we do have a safety and security section in our department, but that's more tied to transit facilities, type safety initiatives and projects.
Let Bob respond to that also.
Thanks for the questions. Right. The Enterprise Technology Services, ETS, is a colleague that I work with, and we have a group of information technology procurement people that we can address your questions. If you contact me offline, I'll be able to answer any questions that you have about that.
My name is Erkan Lutekin, and I would like to understand the procedure for vendor certification and where can we register?
Okay, but real quick, and we'll certainly speak to you after that, but a small business in Broward County is a business that's been in Broward at least 1 year. Personal net worth of the owner of the business is $1.32 million or less, not counting his or her primary residence, and the gross receipts of the business have to average $5 million or less over 3 years, or if the business is construction related, $9 million or less over 3 years. And again, all of that's on our website in terms of an application, a video that will explain it all as well, but certainly you can reach out to our staff and we'll walk you through the certification process.
Thank you. Good afternoon. My name is Sherry Rudolph. I represent Legally Clean. We clean corners, so you don't have to. My question is for the Sheriff's Department. How do you find out about the opportunities that are available under the 100,000?
Well, that's what I'm saying. If you would go to our, you're going to get our contact information on Tuesday. So for those opportunities that are under 100,000, if you call me, I can let you know when the workshop is going to be where you can come and attend that. Also, some of those for janitorial, even though they're quotes, some of them we do a formal solicitation anyway. We have one posted right now. If you go to sheriff.org and you go to administration and then go to our purchasing page, you'll see that it listed right there. But you can get, when you see my number, you can contact me and I'll follow up with you.
Okay, thank you.
Or I can give you my card after. Thank you.
Apricot.
Sir. Good afternoon, Basil Bernard with Apricot Office Interiors. They call me the charming chairman. We do office furniture, and we've had opportunities. First off, Sandy, you've done a very good job over the last few years, at least bringing this to the fore and making opportunities accessible. A couple of things that I've seen work in Dade County that's not being done yet is, one of the things they send out is a verification of availability. If you ladies and gentlemen on the podium want to know whether or not we're being reached and we understand the opportunities, send out a verification of availability. If you send that out, it makes a big difference. if you're not getting them back, there's something wrong. It took a long time for Dade County to understand that we weren't being reached. If the goal is to have us succeed, just look at the dollars. If at the end of any 6-month period, you're not seeing the dollars go up, something's wrong. So we greatly appreciate these opportunities and the forums. Count the money. If we're not getting it, something's wrong.
Thanks for that suggestion. Any other questions? Yes, sir, right down here.
Hello, everybody. My name is Sandro Vivas. I'm with the ACA Gurus. And my question is, does HR and payroll, is it just one entity for all these divisions? Or does each division have that HR payroll separate? And then if either way, is there a IRS compliance officer that works either in those HR payroll departments?
Bob, you want to take that? I'll add to it. Go ahead.
Sure. The HR department works within the Finance and Administrative Services Department, and it is across the entire county, excluding the sheriff's office, of course. So in terms of an IRS compliance, a designated person for that, I can't address that, but we could.
Yes, as I mentioned, the company is called ACA Gurus, and you're probably aware of the ACA reporting to the IRS that even government agencies need to do. So I'll be interested in getting in contact with that person or whoever that department
Contact
is.
me offline, and I'll direct you to whoever is responsible for our HR systems.
Really appreciate it. Thank you.
I apologize. I didn't ever turn around and you guys were at my back. Any questions? Oh, hey.
My name is Marcela Ragenberg from Safety Matter. We are a supplier of safety material for construction. We represent a manufacturer of steel ADA panels that we want to introduce to the public transportation. Can you suggest how we can do it? ADA panels in steel. We have, by the way, we have brought those panels to Panama Canal. They are testing for 3 years, very successful. They are the steel panels.
Was that a question for the transportation department?
Yeah, how we can introduce the panels for procurement, because they have to be specified in the projects.
Understood. What you could do, my contact information is included in what small business will send forward, and we're always happy to meet and greet vendors and to receive products and services that we may not know about that we could incorporate in our projects. I manage all the construction projects for the department, so I would be the direct contact for that. So if you call us, email me, my contact information is there. I'd be very happy to set up some time to meet so you can kind of highlight the product and or service to us. Thank you.
Hey guys, I'm William with Interface. I guess this kind of goes for all of you. So on a lot of your projects, specifically the larger capital projects, you guys work in conjunction with like architecture and design firms. Is all that information publicly available as far as like a short list of firms that you guys are consistently working with? Because from a vendor standpoint, a lot of times, going back to that, we have to reach out to them for the specification to get on the plans in the first place.
I can answer it. Hello, I'm Sonia Lovett from Purchasing. One thing that we do have for any projects that are currently going on for architectural and design, we have a repository. And on our repository, it will show current and past projects. If there's something that you can't find, you can always reach out to purchasing, that we can help you. But there's a listing of everything that's, that we currently have. So any
There's no
proposals?
Short list of firms?
Yes, it does.
Okay.
Yes, it does. For any current solicitations that are out there, we have ranking, we have proposals, everything is public facing.
Okay, thank you.
Catch you when you were going down there. Sorry about that. Hey, thank you for the happy Friday, by the way. Took a lot of notes. This is pretty awesome. My name is Ruby Caggiano Cooper. I'm with Vergeability, and we specialize in smart technology, so IT, 3G, 4G, 5G, you name it. My question is this, because I'm in the process of becoming certified and want to understand from each of you, where do we begin as it relates to technology specifically? I've noticed that it seems a lot of what we do and specialize in as it relates to cellular and just wireless technologies in general, it's kind of lumped under electrical or low voltage. So if you could help me understand if you're going to separate those types of purchases or if they're kind of lumped in under other categories. Thank you.
Anyone want to take that? Israel?
Thank you for the question. As it relates to what we do at the port, and I haven't listed everything. For example, in the case of the terminal for Disney, there's a great deal of low voltage. There will be 3 or 4 different Wi-Fi networks at different bandwidths and different frequencies. But that's all purchased through the managing general contractor. That's for construction. We do have port security, and port security purchases CCTV, mesh equipment, and a great deal of other stuff, including some of the maintenance we do for the CBP, Customs and Border Protection stations at the cruise passenger terminal. So I think the best place to go to look for when those things come out is purchasing, whether it's BidSync or the purchasing website.
Sonia wants to respond as well.
And one of the great things that you need to do that when you register on Periscope is to link yourselves to different types of commodities. So there's commodity codes that are linked to how you get notified when a solicitation goes out on the street. So even though it may be for an A&E project or construction, what we typically do in purchasing is list all those other types of services, mapping, surveying, anything else that may fall under or may be encompassed in that solicitation so that it would also send out notifications to subs. So it's not just hitting on those high-profile architectural engineering, it's also the services that are embedded in that solicitation. And if you link yourselves to commodity codes, you will get the notification from Periscope.
Hi, I'm Shakia Cashes of McKinley Insurance, all things insurance related. I just want to ask a question because when it's regards to insurance and it's in bigger businesses, is it already chosen by the state or do you offer as to where it bids for certain insurance companies to apply to insure? I mean, because you have your own specific persons that you want. When it comes to insurance, it's kind of difficult to insert yourself in to try to help with insuring. So is it that they automatically have someone on hand that they know, or is it inside, or do you offer out to other companies to try to help with insurance?
Well, we don't specifically specify what type of, we do say what type of insurance, but it's up to the particular vendor to reach out to their own insurance companies. That is a great opportunity. That's something that we don't always talk about. And when we find that in some of our smaller companies having issues with getting insurance or getting the proper type of insurance. So if you don't mind sharing your information with me, and that's something as we're moving forward in developing our vendor management office on areas or ways that we can connect our small business and other vendors with requirements that they need to meet and how they can get those things readily available for them.
Hello, everyone. My name is Timothy Rose. I'm just wondering if somebody can explain the difference between BidSync and Periscope, because we're talking a little bit about both. Some people think they're the same, they're different.
Okay.
And I'd like for everybody to figure out what the difference is.
So for many years, we used the sourcing company BidSync, and they did go through a name change last year, and they're now called Periscope S2G. But what you will find when you go online, when you do download information or what have you, it will still have the name BidSync on there. So it is all one and the same company, same portal. When you go through the, let's say, purchasing's website on how to register, it will say Periscope, but sometimes when you open it, it will say BidSync. And that's on their end, but it's all one and the same.
Okay, I did notice that when I get solicitations from Periscope, they usually want you to pay. It's called Periscope S2G, and the bid syncs seem like they're always no charge. And why is there a difference in that?
So that's the other part that we tell all of our small businesses, and we even have a workshop and a video that shows it. For purchasing behalf, you want to know about Broward County bids, and you heard the sheriff's office as well, it's free. So when you register, it's free. But be crystal clear, they are a platform looking for anyone who registers to let you know here in Broward, you want to know about a bid in Tennessee, California, Michigan, for the low, low price. So they, as an organization, they're soliciting you to see if you want to know the others, and for a low, low price, they'll give you that. We're just trying to remind everyone, Periscope or BidSync, or call it either or, is free to register if you want to know about Broward County bids, but you're absolutely right. 2 minutes and 9 seconds after you register, you're getting a cute little email. How about Minnesota? How about Iowa? $1,000, I give you 17 states. That's them, that's not us. Basil, you have another? Yeah, she's right behind you.
One more thing that I found very successful that the University of Miami did, they had a particular day, probably twice a month for a couple of hours, where you could actually come in and ask that department what's going on, how can I best serve you, and so on. Because some people are not good in forums like this. They're out on the street, but if they can plan ahead to get in front of you, then you'd have and see much more participation. Because just being across from somebody who can tell you, yeah, we want the road striped, but we want it a certain way, and this is the opportunity coming up, will make a huge difference if the goal is to get the inclusion.
Thank you. I see Vanetta making that note.
Could I just add a comment to that
Oh,
very
sure, Bob.
quickly? So I had mentioned earlier about a vendor's manual, but also mentioned about the vendor's management office. And that would be one of the activities that they would be doing is standing up some of these mini events with, either, transportation or construction-related areas or professional services or the trades, and having a meet and greet between the clients who we serve in purchasing, as well as our service providers in the marketplace. So, and of course, we'd be working with OESBD, to put these things together. And that would be on a periodic basis, but that's on the roadmap.
So we got another question over here.
Good morning, good afternoon. I had a question about, like, let's say you won a bid, but as the process was going, they provided more information, and then you wanted to, like, renegotiate with them. Is that possible?
Are you saying for a bid?
Yeah, like
Okay,
if you-
so unfortunately, no. You can't, let's see what the short answer is. So when we put out an invitation to bid, we select the most responsible and responsive vendor, and it's always the lowest price. So whoever give us the most, responsible bid with the lowest price, and then whatever you submit, and it says so in the general conditions, that your prices are firm. So we don't negotiate after the fact, no.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, good afternoon. My name is Kathy Lajo, and I'm from BCC Engineering, a consulting firm, transportation. I saw the project that was mentioned, the BRT project, and it says that it's for one corridor. I was wondering who we can talk to about getting more information on that and where the corridor is, as well as I know that one's in a PD&E phase, and the other one's for a design phase, if you could share a little bit of information on that.
Yes, hi. You said BRT, correct?
Yes.
That would be me, Sarithia Douglas. I manage the bus rapid transit program too. So I'll be the contact if you want to know more about the project. We're always happy to meet. Just call, we'll set up a meeting, discuss the specs and where we are going with that. You're correct. We are going to have, we're doing a system study where we're assessing all our corridors, determining technology. Is it bus rapid transit? Is it rail? That's going to be completed by the end of this year. Then what you see on the presentation is the next steps for us. We're going to be looking to we're doing up to 30% design now with an existing contract. We're going to take that to 100% design. So that's what you see listed. In addition, we're going to start looking at the second and third corridors. We're anticipating doing 150 miles of bus rapid transit in the county. So the next corridor would be the corridor we're moving to the PD&E stage. To start developing that, then you'll see us go to 30% design, 100%, then you'll start seeing the construction contracts come out associated with that. But for more details on potential what the corridor is, what the spec will include, you can contact me, and I'll be happy to expand a little bit more on the specifications and give some more details that you may need.
Perfect. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, so gang, at this time, I got another hand? Step up here a little bit, we can almost hear you. No, yeah, come on, you're good. Because I don't know which one of y'all will get here quicker, you or her. Appreciate you, there you go.
Hi, good afternoon. Hi, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Joshua Smith, and I am the owner of Mind Over Matter Allied Health LLC, where I am a mobile massage therapist and physical therapist assistant in the South Florida area. So what my business provides is wellness days for different municipalities and cities in the Miami area. So my question would be, how can I do a wellness day? Like, what steps do I have to take to do a wellness day for the city of Broward? I met you.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Remember? At
the Florida.
BB&T.
Yes,
Yes,
correct.
sir. So I do know who we want to put him in touch with. We want to put him in touch with our Human Resource Department, because with all of our county procurement, insurance, and benefits, a portion of that is wellness. So they would be the best group to decide, as with our partners or our affiliates, what wellness days or what projects we might have where an outside vendor could not only benefit the health and the wellness of the county employees, but potentially be a part of a process. So we really need to give you our David Kahn. Who's in David's show? Oh, David? So we'll make sure we give you David Kahn's contact information. You can tell him you was at this session today, and you would like to speak to him about wellness in terms of what you do, to see if there's an opportunity to be a part of what the county does dealing with wellness.
Okay, he's an HR?
Yes, sir, he's the director.
Okay, so
Yes.
Mr. David Kahn,
Yeah.
director.
We'll get your contact information so we can give you his.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
Thank you. So if it's no more questions, what I want to make sure we do, everybody, you walk? Nope, you're not. Is that, guys, this is how you stay in contact with our office. Again, hopefully you are getting that Wednesday night newsletter. If you're not, send me an email, Maribel an email, Vanetta an email. I saw Wharton Berger here, James Voss is here. Any of our staff, send them an email so we can make sure that we add you to the Wednesday newsletter. Whip your camera out real quick and do that little cute thing that they do that I don't know anything about, but they said it worked, so. Because again, we want to make sure you can get the information that we have. You can follow us, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. They have me doing Facebook Lives and other kind of stuff, but again, we're just trying to get the information out. In addition to that, upcoming events, FITSE, if you're into international activity, the Florida International Trade Cultural Expo is also coming up on the 19th and 20th. Our website also shows the other activities and events that are actually coming up. That's the big information on FITSE. So if available, free. FITSE is free. And this is where, though, we want you to stay engaged. We want you to stay with us. Again, we do this once a year, but we do multiple meet and greets. Many of the projects that you heard about today, as we get ready to roll out those projects, we're gonna be doing meet and greets. Purchasing with user agencies decide whenever they do pre-bid meetings. We always try to find ways to introduce you to our directors, and we also try to find ways, which, to the young lady's point about insurance, one of the things I like to always remind all of us when we come into these networking workshops, or even when we were doing it virtually. This is important because we're getting ready to end, so you can meet these ladies and gentlemen who I want to thank for presenting this information today. But do not forget to meet someone to the left of you or to the right of you, in front of you or in back of you, because you have no idea as a small business who needs you, and you have no idea as a small business who you might need. You guys are resources to each other, and I often tell small businesses, you may have missed it. You came and asked me about something, and the person that was 2 seats over, that's what they actually do. So we don't ever want you to miss those opportunities. And since we do have her here, I want to thank a representative from North Miami Beach, Commissioner Danielle Jean, for joining us today. So thank you for coming up and being with us here. But gang, at this time, seriously, I want to thank you. I certainly want to thank all my presenters. I'll have to make sure, well, let me see, 1 or 2. I have to make sure that I go back and write a note to all their bosses to tell them how great they did, you know, see if I can get them a little extra love. But at this time, we welcome you to meet them in those exchanges, do those exchanges, but each of you will get the PowerPoint and the contact information for them all. But thank you again for joining us today.